Yo, gang, we got a lot to talk about this week. This chapter was crazy. Kudos to all you guys who was right about Traum controlling Enkidou. That was crazy. I did not think that was possible. Only because I never looked at Enkidou as like a necessary creature. I kind of thought like Maxuf created him type of thing because he's the one that sent him, to Traum. But I guess like if you can look at like Blulo, the Chupacabra, they're all like creatures, I guess, and I guess Enkidou would be considered a creature. But kudos to you guys. But I got a lot of things to cover, some stuff that people didn't put together, and I'm gonna answer some questions that people have about whether this is enough or not. And I think it's enough for Gustang to go to war. So let's get into it. Before we get into it, though, like and share the video. You know, anybody that likes TOG, that enjoys my takes and everything. If you like it, maybe somebody else will like it. So do give boy a favor, sub to the channel, share it to somebody else. Let's get to it. So we start off with the chapter review, right? So we start where we left off with Enkidou kind of still looking at what he did, and Traum in the background seemingly passed out or whatever. And then Edouan arrives, and kind of like to a shock. Like I don't think we all expected him to pop up like this, but he popped up. Probably is the most skilled flyer in the group. Like I imagine, like kind of like a Killua thing, where like he travels with electricity through the air, which makes him kind of like Goku, Dragon Ball Z, like just blasting through the air, right? And he made it there in no time. He's there to see Enkidou and automatically sees the scene and thinks Enkidou killed Ameuz, which he did. And, he goes right to town on him, like, I'm about to, rip your throat out and all this. And Enkidou's, like, basically bitching. But before Ed could do any questioning or anything, Traum cuts his head off. Which was like, okay, you would accept that as, like, a reaction because Traum finally, like, kind of woke up out of his trance. Because that's what it seemed like he was in, if he was like shocked or whatever. We go to this hooded figure, and this is indeed a woman because you can kind of see the pink lips on her, right? And she's in Traum's laboratory and says that while Traum isn't normal, but he's made like tremendous progress. And we know that Traum and Zahar are like the only two people who really kind of know about this, but who is she? I know a lot of people are mostly assuming Arlen, and I'm along that train too. Like I'm kind of with the majority this time. Who could get into Traum's mothership without being detected, right? I would assume Arlen. Like she knows spells, right? So spells being able to maybe mask her Shinsu density and mask her smell and all types of things like that. She would be someone who could do that. So I'm assuming that's Arlen. We don't know for sure, but she's definitely with the Grace people, right? Because we get to see later that she's concerned about Lustlek, who hasn't been responding to whoever wrote her a message and said that Lustlek is kind of incapacitated. In the midst of that, though, the family heads are grieving. The ones who are there, all but Ari Han. Ari Han is not there, and I didn't know if anybody picked that up. But Edouan, which seems to be Blossom, and we could probably assume it is because of her hair color and her style, is the same as Ennie's. So that's probably Blossom, right? Gustang and Yan Hannah, Lee Rang. Lee is not actually spazzing out as I thought she might, but maybe she's controlled because she knew that what happened was kind of Enkidou's fault, definitely. And while they're grieving, the intruder manages to escape. Who knows if it's with Lustlek? We don't see or hear any inklings of Lustlek escaping, so I don't think it was with him. Now, Gustang goes to mention what he's mentioned before about keeping history and keeping all the facts in line, right? So he's getting prepared, looking like an Inspector Gadget, trying to go investigate what's going on. And he goes to Traum, and we get to see that scene we saw a couple dozen chapters back where he says that, Traum, this is your fault, and Enkidou killed Ameuz. And this scene kind of further goes on with Traum saying that, he wants to erase the memory, and he says that he's going to tag along with Gustang to go kind of interrogate Enkidou, saying that, I need to know why she killed him. And yeah, it makes kind of sense when you look at it from the surface level, right? So they go into a question in Enkidou, and Enkidou immediately blames V. I know y'all was like me looking at that shit like, the fuck is he talking about? Like, nah, like what? Like, insane reach. And then the explanation doesn't even make sense. Like, I read it several times, and even in the explanation, it doesn't make sense. But Traum helps this make sense by moving it along. Also having that frog there, with I guess it's a truth-telling frog, which I mean, Traum controls animals, so of course he can control the frog to tell the truth, right? Like it makes sense. But his explanation was more on the lines that, well, Ameuz kind of wanted to escape, and she knew that she had to go through me, and I had contacted V via her, and my whole mission was to turn into one of you guys and escape. Like it was kind of bullshit. Like I don't think any of us really believe that, right? But Traum helps it along by saying, well, I guess it's believable if you take this angle and you look at it like this. It's not likely, but who's to say if he's telling the truth? Anyway, I don't really care. I want him dead. Gustang, you can feel free to do it yourself. And then we get a scene where how Enkidou got sealed inside the sprout, which was created by Yan Lee, which was going to grow forever, so nobody can ever find Enkidou sealed. Now somebody stops the sprout from growing by placing this water spell on it. Now I would assume that it is Arlen, because I think, and I think we all probably do, right? She is one of the best spellcasters we've seen in the series. She did teach Lust-like spells, and Lust-like spells are based on plants. And if she taught him, I would assume that she knows water and plant-based spells, right? So you can safely assume it's her, but we don't actually know, right? So we flash back to see that Gustang's flashback with Enkidou doesn't end. He gets another piece of it that Traum, I guess, wasn't there to see, with Enkidou revealing that Traum controlled him and that Traum made him kill Ameuz. Now, Gustang is looking at this like, what? And I kind of understand Gustang's perspective, because it's just like, well, why would I believe you? Like, you're a fucking monster. We know that you were obsessed with Traum. Like, at that point in time, why would Gustang believe Enkidou? He has no reason to. But he said it to himself that towards the end of the chapter that this may be something important later on. And that's like the keen smarts of Gustang showing there. Like, because anybody else probably would have looked at it like it's crazy. Like, what? Like, he was proposing to her. He loved her. We all knew this. So why would he kill her? Like, come on now. But Gustang, being the one who always questions things, kept this as a documentation just in case he needed it for later on. So this will go into my whole explanation for those who thinks that this flashback is going to go on further and that there needs to be more examples here, or more of another memory. I don't think so. I think this is it, and I'm going to tell you why. So my first example would be Harry Potter, right? So for those who are familiar with Harry Potter, if you're not, one of the most important scenes and important events in Harry Potter was Harry retrieving the memory of a horse Slughorn, okay? If you're not familiar with this, go to the 6th movie, The Half-Blood Prince, where Slughorn gets introduced. Now, Slughorn is the teacher of Voldemort, okay? Sorry for the Harry Potter background, but you need to know. And he's the reason why Voldemort was able to create Horcruxes, which was able to make him 7 souls, right? So, Dumbledore had a theory about this whole thing, but Dumbledore is like Gustang. Like, they're both brainy people. They both need all the facts before they can act. So this is the same thing that's going on here. Harry Potter had to coax the memory out of Slughorn to give the Dumbledore, so Dumbledore could finalize his theories on what is going on with Voldemort, how he has these souls, what they are, and everything else. This confirmed the piece. This allowed the 7th movie to completely go on because he had all the pieces of knowledge that he needed. Now, this is the same thing with Gustang. Gustang has all the memories, guys. There doesn't need to be more of a flashback. This is enough to go to war over, okay? Because Gustang said a couple dozen chapters ago, he has recovered all his memories. Remember the giant memory library where he was only missing 1 book? So he has all his memories. The thing is, he doesn't have that memory that puts everything together, okay? So for instance, example, what if everything past this event, Traum did weird shit to Gustang, right? Like, what if when Annie was getting sealed, Traum voted for her being sealed? Now, in hindsight, it may not look crazy, but Gustang may have questioned that. Like, I thought we were close friends, right? Like, I came to see you about your proposal and everything. Like, why would you be for sealing my daughter? But now with this memory, it makes sense, right? Because Traum has been an op from the beginning, okay? Gustang can formalize his thoughts and look at everything a with a focal telescope to see like this event, this event, this event all looked skeptical to me previously, and now that I can confirm that Traum is an actual op, oh no, this is fucked. Like, this man has made these choices to manipulate me. Maybe the whole breakup in the marriage between Blossom and Gustang was also orchestrated between Traum and Zahar. Like, maybe they're too close. We can't have them staying together. Like, everything that skeptical that Zahar and Traum could have done up until this point basically gets confirmed here for Gustang, that you have been an op. And now he's able to even look further past, like during the event, and even like them becoming immortal, he can look at everything now and say, oh, they have been manipulating us and the Grace people for a long time. Yes, that is enough to cause destruction everywhere, because everything is fucked, and all based on Zahar's manipulation and Traum going along with it. So yeah, you would basically have to destroy everything in the tower if you're going to finalize your thoughts here, right, guys? Like, because you're going against the king. He was already going against the king, but with Traum being involved, it makes shit extremely complicated. I mean, think about it. Who knows where any is sealed? Blossom, Traum, and Zahar. That's insane. That is insane. Talk about playing chess. Talk about chess moves. That's a chess move. Like, guys, it's really complicated and really deep, and CU has absolutely cooked with this, okay? V and Arlen are basically the Grace people, and they're being framed for this. And at this point in time, previous Gustang, he has no reason to go against Zahar at this point or believe that Enkidou's telling the truth. So that's it for you guys. For you who don't think that this is enough, it's more than enough for, you know, Gustang to want everything to go down. So, you know, Gustang could ally with, like, the revolutionaries and everything. We don't know how far this goes. And, you know, anybody else that may be on Gustang's side, because, you know, a lot of us assume that Gustang has another friend, family head, that may be thinking the same way he is. So, we'll see, right? But as far as the chapter goes, chapter's a 10 out of 10 for sure. Like, this was like probably the best chapter of the year so far. It's just super, super fire. Super lit background. Traum is crazy, bro. Traum cannot ever be redeemed, and he doesn't need to be. Everybody doesn't need to be redeemed. But he is villain #1 right now. I think I love Zahar. Zahar's my favorite character. But Traum, as far as villains, he's right now the best villain in the series. Like, his acting skills, his portrayal, his you know, treatment of his family. This man is insane. So super gas chapter. I'm not sure how this relates to Icarus yet. We'll get to see, I guess, how this goes forward. I hate that the Arlen is Icarus theory, but it might be proven true here. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that the flashback may be over at this point, guys. If it does go in deeper, cool. But I think it is all over. It'd be nice to get back to the regular. I know we've been enjoying the viewing of family heads in the background, but we do need to move the plot along a little bit, and I don't want the flashback to last like 10 chapters, right? So maybe next chapter we get to see Traum and Holland and you know, the King piece finally, you know, get recognized, if this game is still even going on. But Gustang can basically put into action everything that he's been thinking. Also, like, with him wanting to kill Traum, this definitely confirms that he will or probably kill Traum for sure, because Traum's an op. He's for sure confirmed an op now. So yeah, guys, we will be streaming again, our review stream, this Thursday per usual. Catch me around 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. But with a lit chapter, I hope to see you guys soon. Discord link in the bottom. I'll see you there. Peace.